We are back. Tour de France, stage 6. We just had Cobbles, and we said you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Sometimes you live and die by the clock. Okay, and I think that's what we had here on stage 6. We'll get into it. Once again, we're just going to recap the stage, maybe do a little preview of what happened. I predicted the winner. I know Kurt, my buddy Kurt said, you really went under the limb on that one. Kind of. I mean, I predicted the correct guy, and I said the reason being was because you just Pogacar and Roglic don't give away stages. So if there's a chance for them, they're going to take it and they're going to put the knife in, and that's maybe without a spoiler. But this is a fantastic stage from start to finish. Let's go over the actual. Let's bring in. There we go. So that's yesterday's stage when we had the winner. And I'd talk maybe about a few things here. We'll go through. So Roglic had a wreck. He hurt his shoulder, took it out. Maybe we'll get to that first. I don't know. I'm just loosey-goosey. I had court this morning. I went back home, changed, so I'm where I'm at. But let's stop the screen here. Let's actually share the screen here for this other one. I got it from Sticky Bob Bottle. There we go. Okay, I want to enlarge that up, and then we're going to play a few little clips here. I think we could get this one of Roglic talking here. Let's see what he has to say.
I couldn't put it immediately back in on the road. So I needed to sit there on the chair of the spectator, and I do have a technique to pull like this down and try to put it back in.
Oh, okay, wow. So he said he dislocated his shoulder. He got a chair from a spectator and he just pulls it down and he pops it back in. So let's get this camera over here a little better. So it sounds like as someone who flies through the air, not me, but him through the air as a ski jumper, he's probably had this happen a few times. Which means if you dislocate, if people don't know, if you dislocate your shoulder or you're separated at least, it does have a tendency to come in and out a little bit more. So he said he put it over the chair of some spectator, pulled it back in. Yikes. And I actually think if you watch the sprint today, we'll maybe jump a little bit to a spoiler here, but you can see that he's not quite the same. So obviously that hurts. Then let's go to this little portion. This is a little breakdown of the wreck. Let's go back here. Coming through, we talked about this yesterday. So you can see here, see the motorbike blips a little bit there. That's the motorbike hitting that. Okay, so that's the problem. This motorbike right here hits it. These guys can't move out of the way. I don't know if it was Kung or whatever, but he hits it, knocks it out more, comes out, and then boom, you see those guys behind going down, which was Caleb Ewing and Roglic. Too bad. I did have something else I wanted to play here, and it is a clip from. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna see if I could get this in. How would I do this? It's a clip from Jonas, and I think it's important in a way. So I know I sent it to Kurt and Chris. Maybe I will be able to find it in our texts and then bring it up here. And I think it's somewhat important for. Okay, let's see if we can open with QuickTime. We're doing this on the fly here, people. Let me see if I can actually share this one. So this is about his mechanical that he had yesterday. Can I see it? Nope, I can't. Okay, well I'll just tell you what it was. But basically, Jonas says he had a mechanical yesterday, which was he dropped his chain. He said it got a little bit of stuck. So then what he decided to do was get Van Hooydonk's bike, and then he went across the street and got his own. And he's like, I could have put it in. I'm like, I don't know how bad it was. I did see a thing where it looked like it was kind of stuck. If you're at all know how to work on your bike, or most of us that don't have spare bikes, maybe there's a problem of being catered to too much, which is you don't actually know what to do to just fix something on the fly. Which he probably would have been better off pulling over, grabbing the chain, pulling it out. Then he probably would have pulled over one and some wet wipes for his fingers or something because of chain lube. But he would have been better off just pulling the chain out, trying to go on from there rather than have this whole situation. Because then it's a butterfly effect, Chris Horner type of thing, where who knows if they were all up there, how this would have played out. Maybe they would have led to the other side of the road and you wouldn't have had the whole team chasing all day for you. Whatever, Jonas. But that's what we have. Okay, let's get right into today's stage. By the way, I heard a few, I wish, take some clips out of this. I heard a few, let's do the overview here. Comments from GCN and then also from the Peacock today that I thought were some stupid comments. But we'll get to, maybe I'll hopefully try to remember those for that coming up here at the end. So let's go stage 6. Nope, it's not doing it that way. Preview. I like pro cycling stats, but they don't always, spoiler there. So once again, 219.9 kilometers. It's very punchy all day. They said yesterday's was hilly. It wasn't. This definitely was. And it got lit from point 1 to the end. And Brian Zimney. So let's see what he says. So Jonas not being able to put his chain on cost Neilson yellow. Possibly. You never know. Now, I will go back to this. You're spoiling everything here with Neilson Powless not getting yellow today. It was very close. But you look back yesterday at what all took place, him not getting yellow yesterday. Alberto Bettiol chasing down his own teammate. And in a sense, did that, pulling the gap down 10 seconds here at one point, 10 seconds another spot of him doing this work when maybe someone else should have done. Did that enable then him to miss out today? Possibly, maybe even yesterday. It shouldn't be overstated that. Once again, then I talk about him. If he would have just held on to those guys at the end, he wouldn't have lost 3 seconds. Maybe that would have been, or if he hadn't have jumped early, he might have been able to get a podium, which gives a time bonus. Possibly, but I do think, once again, the biggest mistake was him getting rid of Magnus Cort and not being able to at least help in the finish. Because as I said yesterday, Magnus didn't get caught by the chasers, so he was able to hold on there when they were going full bore. So he had something in him, and he could have at least lined it out for Powless, which then he wouldn't have had to jump so early. Maybe that would have been it. These are all little things that come into play, and you can question it. But when you're 4 seconds off the yellow jersey, it does make you kind of wonder that. What more could have been done? Okay, let's remove that from the screen there. Okay, so let's go to, as we've been doing here, we're going to just go to the YouTube GCN, and we're going to pop our way through this. So they do a nice little lovely thing here. This is I don't know, I think they usually start with kind of some things that happened yesterday. Once again, Jonas, you can see the bike here. I wish they had that a little bit better. We'd be able to actually see, and Wout went down yesterday. Jonas, the chain, Wout doing it, and then the bike throw by Simon Clark. Wonderful. Okay, so here we go. Wout up 13 seconds on Neilson Powless, Bosenhagen a second down, Pogacar, what is he there? 6 seconds off, and then Lampert. So with the climb at the finish today, you're really looking at Wout should be able to hang in there. Sagan's won here before. Bosenhagen, those types, you expect it. But this shit got lit up early, and the very first person that actually took a flyer of the day was Vilmos. Okay, that's important because he takes the last flyer of the day. So it wasn't. The first, what is this, 60K or so until you finally see Wout here getting in a break with Quinn Simmons and Fuglsang. It was on, and you always saw the yellow jersey poking, trying to get up the road. Guys are getting shot out the back. They're coming back in. It's a crazy day all the way around, and Wout was part of this, and he was really making an effort to try to get up the road. So he ends up doing so. So I tune in later on. Who was out? Magnus Cort was up the road as well. He had a little trouble here, blah, blah, blah. Pardon me. But Wout's up the road, and Wout's up there with Quinn Simmons, and Fuglsang ditches back. And I'm like, oh, this is solid. You have two really strong guys, and this could be interesting. Now, also what I'm saying immediately when I see this, and Wout really putting in the effort is I think if he just sat in the pack, he has a chance of just keeping yellow, maybe even the stage win today. I don't know. So I don't know what the point of this was, because it was kind of a do or die. He's like, I'm tired of holding on to this. And maybe thinking that we'll just give up the jersey today, because you look at who was actually able to finish up there in second place was Michael Matthews. And if you think Wout can't hang with Michael Matthews, you've got some other things. Magnus was theoretically the best sprinter left in the break, so Eddie B might have been hesitant to go early after Neilson towing Magnus to the line. Yeah, I get that. That's from yesterday. All of that, you never know. And so I don't fault Neilson for jumping early yesterday. I kind of guess is my idea. And all those guys had a chance. I mean, Simon, ends up getting it at the end, but Bosenhagen, he had his chance early. Who knows? Magnus, though, is a great sprinter. And you're right. He's kind of like that Pogacar, at the end of a climb, he can do good. But he was having trouble coming through the cobbles. He's done too much. I think he's lost that. He wouldn't have been able to be a good sprinter in the end there. So it's just an. Oh, by the way, Betty all said, I don't know what was going on. I didn't know Neilson was going for yellow. Maybe it was lost in translation. Maybe what he meant to say was, the bus has really good coffee. I wasn't paying attention to the team meetings. I was making myself a latte. Neilson, it was close to yellow. What are you talking about? Okay, so we've got these two jokers up the road here, and I was like, oh, this is solid. I mean, Quinn Simmons just got the climber's jersey, and was it Suisse or Dauphiné? And he's obviously can go uphill well-ish. He's a powerful guy. Wout's powerful, but in the end, this is kind of where it happened. 30K to the finish. Quinn's was just saying, I can't anymore. So he gets dropped back. And then this is when I saw this right here, I'm like, okay, he's done. There's no way he's going to get caught and hold on. It's all about Neilson today. And if Pogacar doesn't win, because there's time bonuses, you've got a great shot at it. Now, I predicted him to win yesterday. If you listen back to yesterday's show, and I started here, I predicted Pogacar to win. So, for my fantasy league, I was kind of hoping he was gonna win, but I was pulling more for our buddy. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit here. I don't know if this is Sepp. I saw that Sepp came in with Wout. So one of the riders comes off here. This is the time, I think, where Vlasov, some wrecks coming down near the end when you had, it doesn't really show how many kilometers left to go here, but it starts to have problems. 11K, Vlasov end up spit out. They end up catching Wout here at this point, and he loses like 4 or 5 minutes. He's not able to hold on, but the last few pitchy climbs, Neilson Powless looking good. Bora's up there, and BH, Alpecin was chasing earlier, and then Wout just decides he's not going to be able to do it, and he just goes straight through the back. This is what Villemous, yeah, I think this is him taking off with 5.6. There's some up and downs, and you can start to see Pogacar. Pogacar was actually early in the race too. It's kind of following along when Wout was trying to get up the road. So he's very active here. They come up over this last pitch climb with 5.4, and Pogacar is lighting it up. And I'm watching the whole time here. Now, I've watched this back twice because I wanted to, the first time I'm just watching it live, and I was just looking for Neilson Powless. That's all I was doing. I was trying to find Powless, where he's at. And then I rewatched it, and I got some appreciation for another American, which was Brandon Mcnulty. Does a stellar job in the last kilometer here. They're not really going to show it on this portion, but here he is leading them out. He and Rafa Michael. But the last 1K or so, he's just on the front. It's a pitch up, and they're continuing to drive into there. And McNulty was just pushing really good, lined things out. Pogacar didn't have to worry. Then you ended up inside here. You start to see the sprint, and Roglic takes off. Now, I was watching, and I don't know if you could see it here, but his left elbow is kicking out more than his right. Now, this is kind of the way the bend of the bike. But as I was watching it closer, you can see that he's favoring a shoulder. I don't know which shoulder it is. He pulled it out yesterday, but I think that's a problem for him trying to sprint in this situation. If you don't think that a climber, needs much of his shoulders to sprint, I'm sorry. You end up pulling on the bars. You can see here to our left, Roglic's right, that Pogacar is taking off. His elbows are both out. He's flexing. The bike's swinging more side to side, and Roglic, little baby hand. I don't know if this is his right hand or right arm, but one of those just doesn't look too healthy. And in the end, Pogacar gets a nice little, and I was concerned that Michael Matthews ended up closing it down with David Gaudu, that there was going to be another gap there. But you look back here, ways we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th. There was Neilson Powless. I think Rigoberto Urán ends up in there. Jonas is up there right around with Roglic as well. So with the times, there's a boy. He wins. A lot of posting up. Pretty happy. Guys come in. 7 minutes down is Wout, and on his right is Sepp Kuss. So we'll break down everybody. Okay, so now he wins the stage. Roglic, Pogacar does. He's also in yellow. This classmate there gets Neilson Powless by 4 seconds because there was a time bonus at the end. Vinigo is in third at 31 seconds. Not too bad. I mean, that's pretty much what he lost yesterday, I think. Yates 39 seconds, Pidcock 40, Thomas 46, Vlasov 52, Danny Martinez. Did Vlasov ended up losing? I'll have to go. We'll break this all down and see where the peoples are. Now, I was watching GCN, and Adam Blythe is on there, and he made a comment that he was a little disappointed in Roglic, and the reason he was a little disappointed in Roglic is because he let out the sprint and he wasn't watching out for Jonas. He's like, if the roles were reversed, Jonas would be watching out for him and leading him out. And I'm like, well, first of all, Jonas isn't a big sprinter. Roglic is a kind of guy that could win this stage. Jonas is not. So that's not, and I just thought it was a stupid comment. They're already in there 200 some from the finish. You don't really need all you need to do is follow along. And it's just really, it's a dumb comment. Another one was, and I'm going to get controversial on this one. Quinn Simmons comes across the line and he's given high fives. And that was Nicholas Roach. He's like, this is horrible. This is not responsible in the age of COVID. So, yeah. Remember back in the days when people were posting things about getting COVID from a UPS package left at your door, that was going to be a possibility? Yeah, not really. Okay. There we go. So let's take a look now and break down the actual results. And we can take a look here. Results, stage 6. Yeah, I got a different camera going here. So I use this situation that Nate pointed me to, Nate Dunn. So the camera seems to be much, much better, a little bit more spry. You get to see all the wrinkles in my face. Pogacar wins the stage. We talked about here. All the way down, Neilson Powless in 14th place, right with Garrett Thomas. Thomas actually, there's a gap to him, so those guys all get the same. There's a 10, 6, and 4 second bonus. That's how Pogacar ends up leapfrogging over Neilson Powless. Lutsenko, Vlasov, 5 seconds back. So maybe they caught on. So we'll go to the GC here. It's all good and dandy. Brandon McNulty, he's looking good up there. Let's first of all just check out our Americans. Neilson Powless on the same time, 5 seconds back. McNulty from doing that great lead out. Kevin Vermaeke, a little rebound from yesterday, loses 1:17. That's solid. Matteo Jorgensen drops out 4 minutes. Dombrowski with the 4. Sepp Kuss with 7:28. Quinn Simmons mailed it in after he got flicked from Wout for 11:28. Let's look at the GC. Well, we know Powless is in second. McNulty, top 30. Jorgensen, 55. Sepp drops 6 places to 77. He's 11:59. He's here for the work for the team. Let's points. Quinn Simmons, he's now only minus 25 instead of minus 40. He's got 1 point for the KOM rather than 0 or -1. He was at -1 before. Let's go up to all nations. That's Australia. And let's kind of flick through teams for the GC and see who lost what where. Actually, I want to look at this stage. Okay, so one of them I am looking for is Astana Lutsenko. He lost it, but only 5 seconds today. Okay, that's not so bad. Alpecin, they didn't really have anybody up there. AG2R, Ben O'Connor, he ends up losing another 2:37. So yesterday looked like it was a problem. This team didn't drop back and really help him. But today it looks like it's maybe just couldn't do much for him. B&B, we don't really care about them. Bahrain, the Jack Haig dropped out yesterday. Dylan Tunes was up there. Caruso loses 21 seconds, continues to slide down. Bora, they had a few guys up there. So Vlasov, he must have caught back up. I know he was off the back there for a bit, but Leonard Kamna loses a little bit of time, Kodrak, but Vlasov still hanging tough. Bora, Guillaume Martin loses 5 seconds. EF, that we know about those guys. Rigoberto loses 5. So there's a little gap. And what happened there, I think it was right after, it was right after Neilson. One of those guys must have just had a second gap. And then what they do is they count to the front guy, and then you don't just get a second from the guy that was in front of you. It's time gap to the front. So Uran ended up losing that. He's 214 out, but he moved up 14 places. Hey, Bedial moved up 29 places today. Groupama, David Gaudu, he's looking really solid. I'm wondering about picking him for tomorrow. Ineos, Pidcock was up there. Like I said, Thomas lost a little bit, but you have 4 of their guys in the top 15 there, and all losing in that only 5 seconds there. Interwarranty Marche, Louis Menches, this is 26, Israel. So how was our guy, Michael Woods? He was up in that front group, so he's actually pulling along just fine. Vinigo, Roglic, Kreuzik loses a minute and on down. Lotto, not really caring about them. Movie Star, did they have anybody? Enric Mas, he stays up in that top 15 place. Quick Step, not really worried about them for GC. Quintana stays in that top spot as well. Bike Exchange, Michael Matthews is the only one up there. He gets second place in the day. Team DMSM, Roman Bardet, he ends up hanging in tough. Total Energies, you had Pierre Latour. How is he doing on GC? Bolsonaro, he's down 12 minutes, so it's not really an issue for him this time. Trek, Thomas Squeens lose some time, and UAE, we know them. They won. They got Mcnulty up there. And as far as GC goes, same situation. George Bennett lost a little time, but you should be able to see how he goes tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's Super Planche de Belfi. Not just Planche de Belfi, but Super Planche. It's the extended portion. To 176.3 kilometers, a nice big ass climb at the end, a Cat 3 with a sprint point before it, and another Cat 3, and then our Cat 1. And who's going to win that? I don't know. It'll be a battle with, I'm seeing David Gaudu, like I said. Any Americans? Maybe well, let's see if Neilson can hold on. I just don't see him being able to out crunch Pogacar, Pogacar on that super top part, and with the gravel. Hopefully he'll be able to hold on. It would be nice to get him in yellow. I don't know what he's going to be able to produce for this tour, but us as Americans, and then here in Northern California, which we've ridden with Neilson. I've interviewed him a few times, been on our local rides, friends with a bunch of us around here. We're pulling for him. Let's be honest. It'd be interesting to see how this big first day does for people like him. Sepp Kuss, Brandon McNulty's thrown in there, and obviously, and then the dynamic with Vinigo, Roglic, how that works. Pogacar, he looks like he's on fire. And then who kind of some of those next tier guys are. It'd be interesting to see if Ben O'Connor could end up kind of pulling himself back together. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it either way. So that's what we have. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Friday? It's also my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, wife. And Super Planche de Belfi. Awesome. That's what we have. Thanks for joining us today, people. 24 minutes. We're in. We're out. Who are your predictions? I haven't even really looked to see. We could also see who stage 8. It's got a little bit of climbing at the end as well. That's Saturday and Sunday. Throat's having trouble. See ya.